Well, hello.
Hello,
Hey,
everyone.
hey. Happy Sunday. This is, I'm Tuna, and this,
And I am Dr. Michael Gross.
and we are here today. We're thrilled to pieces to be here to bring you Michael's Words of Wisdom. And our topic today is,
Decisions.
however, before we get started, we always like to share with you a little nugget about us
Yes.
because we are both authors.
Yes, we are.
This is Michael's book.
And this is Tia's book, Healing the Holes in Your Soul,
The Spiritual Primer, best gosh darn book I've ever read.
and the best book I've ever read about survival and empowerment and learning about loving yourself. Fantastic story, fantastic book. You've heard me talk about this before. It's a must read. She's an amazing woman.
Well, thank you, Michael. And I must say that if it wasn't for this book, I would not have met this man who opened the door and answered my one burning question that I've been trying to answer my whole entire life. And he has the missing piece, you could call it, if you wanted to do jigsaw puzzle, or he has the key to the most amazing message ever. So, on that note, look at that light. The Spiritual Primer is a must read because, with the help of this book, that one got written. And I am so thrilled that Michael and I are here to share some of the words of wisdom that he has today for us.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. I know you have valuable time, and if you don't catch us on our podcast, as I call it, at 2 p.m. on Sundays, Pacific Standard Time, no longer daylight
No,
savings.
now it's daylight savings, Michael.
No,
Really? We're going to have to check on that.
Pacific Standard Time. We just moved the clocks ahead 1 hour.
No, we went back an hour.
Well, you're right. I get it right, but anyways, daylight time. Anyway,
Whatever it is.
yeah, you spring ahead, fall back. That's how I remember it.
Me too.
Right. So
We
now
have
that
to-
we got you confused, which way is up?
Oh, I don't know. But we always have such a good time coming
Yes, we
and
do.
chatting with you, letting you know about some of Michael's wisdom, words of wisdom, I should say. But
Yeah.
before I give him that moment to share with us what I know he's got, he's just dying to get started. Okay. Anyway, but I'm going to introduce him, and I hope everybody's having a wonderful Sunday. I really appreciate it when you come and you watch these Facebook Lives and ask questions. We encourage everyone to ask questions, okay? So here we go. This is a formal part and this is the only formal part. Nothing else is scripted.
You're right.
We just do it, and whatever comes out, comes out. So brace yourself. You're in for a ride. Okay. Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he's been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, a spiritual counselor, and a teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self-empowerment and helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and bring forth their intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches classes in spirituality, self-empowerment, Reiki, and other modalities.
Oh, yes. Oh, boy.
Got to find out what those are, huh?
Yeah.
In concert with God, the true source, he has also achieved great success and miraculous healings. He remains humble, knowing that the work he does all comes from God, the true source. Michael lives in Lakewood, Washington, but I will not give you his address.
Thank you.
I'll give you his email.
All right.
And he has just launched his nonprofit called
The International Institute of Self-Empowerment, or TISE, T-I-I-S-E, the International Institute of Self-Empowerment.
We're here. We're going to be. It's in the infancy stages. A lot of things are coming down the pipeline very soon, and I'm honored to be part of his nonprofit's board of directors. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the wonderful Dr. Michael Gross.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for joining us I really appreciate it. I'm getting more comfortable here. And while you're here, I was asking what I call the true source, or some people say God the true source. What should I speak about? And so everything that Tio has said, nothing is scripted except, the introduction. And I was told decisions. And that's so important for us in life. We're making decisions 24/7. Whether you should take this road home or that road home, get gas now, get gas later, stop at the grocery store. Even when you go out shopping, should I buy this? Should I buy that? We're always making all kinds of decisions.
Even what should I wear?
Absolutely.
What do I eat?
Yes, you're right.
Simple stuff we don't even think about.
Exactly. We don't think good point. We don't think about that. But we're making decisions 24/7. Even whether, you should go to this way to work or what you should do each day at work. You probably have a file of things you need to do or you want to accomplish. And what I wanted to discuss with you, all of you, is to make it more easy for you to make decisions. Problem with decisions is when we make them, sometimes we second guess ourselves. Or we make a decision, you buy something, you have buyer's remorse. Or if you buy something like you make a major purchase, a car or a house or even carpeting or even furniture, whatever it is, you start, well, did I really do the right thing? Is it really good? Can I get it cheaper? Can I get a better deal? And all these thoughts go by you. And of course, there's always someone that has a remark to say. And I remember years ago, I bought my house and decorated it and had a lot of rehab work done. And at that time, a dear female friend of mine came over and said, looks awfully masculine. And I said to her, what do you expect? I'm a guy. You want me to have, that frilly stuff? What do they call it? Foo-foo?
Yeah, foo-foo.
Foo-foo. You're like, really? What do you expect? So, but that was my decision. And that's one of the things I wanted to bring out when she said it was, awfully masculine. But my decision is, I'm a guy. And
makes
so
sense to me.
This is what I desire to have. Now that doesn't mean that I don't like some that are foo-foo, but this is what appealed to me at this time. And of course, they say you're redecorating your house every 7 to 10 years, and you're buying new furniture. And I've been living here about 9 years, and I'm getting ready to redecorate at least the den, probably next year or the year after. Well, whenever. But it's important for you to remember that each decision you make, you have to follow a protocol. What is the protocol? Well, listening to the thoughts of your soul, your body. If you take a little child, a baby, I remember one time we used to have these little jars of baby food. I don't know if they still do anymore. I don't notice them around, but they may. And one of them was beech nut, and there was another one. And
I remember beech nut.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it tasted really good, guys.
What?
I'm sorry, sidebar.
And
I
you
used
would
to have to eat that stuff.
open up the little jar, right? And you would put the jar in a little pot of water to warm it up. We didn't use microwaves. You're not supposed to use a microwave. And then the baby would eat. And sometimes you mix the food together, like you mix carrots and spinach. And I won't tell you what it looks like, but you can use your imagination. But the baby would eat, not my but my daughter or my son would eat carrots and spinach, and maybe they had chicken. And there was always leftover. And the next day they refused to eat it. They didn't want to eat it. So then we ended up with peas and maybe some lamb and something else. And they would eat it. And what they were doing, their decision was based upon their body. What are their bodily needs? Because every food that we have, every vegetable, every meat has different vibrations and energies, which is what a baby understands. And at the same time has different vitamins, minerals, and so on and so forth. So we innately, as a child, knew what was perfect for us. And then as we get older, things change. And I remember, there were certain foods I wouldn't want to eat when I got older. And the expression was, there are children starving in China, be glad you got this food.
Mine were in Biafra. There's children starving in Biafra. That's what Mom and Dad always said.
Where's Biafra?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But anyway, nothing against the Asian people in China, but those are the things we learned. And as time went by, we had likes and dislikes. One of the blessings I had was that my mother made me eat everything.
Mine
And
too.
so
Mine
now,
too.
I'm eclectic. I eat everything. Do I have preferences? Yeah, but that's a decision, my preferences. What do I do truly desire? Let's get a little deeper into decisions. Now, we have the basic decisions you make every day, where you're going to eat, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then there are decisions that are life changing. What can they be? Relationships? I have one. And let's talk about your spouse or significant other, if you will. Let's talk about career changes. Let's talk about major purchases of cars and house. Let's talk about vacations, things you do that really impact your life. I mean, everything we do impacts our life to one degree or another, but there's ones that are more major. You can go to work every day and say you were working in a lumber mill and you were the bookkeeper or the accountant. And so you do that every day. You make a decision. Then you decide to work for a big corporation insurance company. That's a major change. And you're wondering, well, I'm going from the lumber industry that I know like the back of my hand. I'm going to underwriters and all these different facets you have to look at. Is this the right decision? Well, first of all, you have to realize that you're being guided. Who's guiding you? Your soul. Okay, been there, done that, time to move on. And if you're making a major decision that's a life career, like from one industry to another, or someone that you want to have a relationship with, how do you know what's right? How do you know it's going to work out? Well, most people say, well, you'll never know till you really do it. And that's true. But why are we always looking for a confirmation that we're doing the right thing instead of following the thoughts of our soul? And that's what's so important. When you make a change, industry wise, or buy a vehicle, or whatever you're doing, there's a reason why you're doing everything. And for me, I'll be driving a car that I had, and I heard getting tired, buy a new car. Okay. And I just heard this thought in my mind. Didn't say, Michael, buy a new car. Just the thought. Okay.
And
And
it's
then,
pretty subtle sometimes.
yes, it is very subtle.
Sometimes, if you're not paying attention, you might even miss it.
That's true.
Or you get that, like that analogical thinker going, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, yeah, who said that? Right?
Exactly. And so what happens is if you follow that, let's say that intuition, that message you're getting from your soul, you'll be perfectly correct. When the decision is, well, I made it up, is it really right? Then your car breaks down, you got to get it towed. Now you're desperate, you got to get a car, so you cannot use it to your advantage to get the best price. Now, when I deal with a dealership and buy a car, I tell them I don't want any high pressure. High pressure. Well, of course they do that. And then, we start haggling over the price. I just get up and say, okay, goodbye. And I walk out. Well, wait a minute. And they do it 3 or 4 times and finally come up with the best price. And it's like I tell them, give me your best price. I don't want a dicker. I just get up and walk away. And I have done that in the past because I don't like playing games and I know that's what they like to do. And I understand they want to get the most dollars bang for their buck. But truly, can you go to a grocery store and you're buying roast, a chicken that's $1.99 a pound? You can say, I'll give you $1.29 a pound. I'll give you 99 cents a pound. It's not going to work too well to go, bye.
Yeah, the butcher's going to look at you funny.
Exactly.
Excuse me?
So there are some things that you cannot do, you cannot dicker with, as they say, or get a lower price. Many times I'm out shopping and I'm looking for food, go to the store, and there's the chicken I'm looking for, and it happens to be on sale. It's that basic that we have to understand. And in everything in your life, your soul knows exactly what's correct for you, not the ego. And that's so important to know. And I have a friend, and
You have friends?
a few, 1 or 2.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help that. He said that to me so many times. I'm like, I have to get him.
And she has a Lexus convertible. Pretty good. I wouldn't mind having one. Well, she told me a tune-up was $3,000 to $4,000, and this was this, and this is that. Well, wait a minute. On a Honda or a Toyota, it's under $1,000, 7 or 8 or 600 or whatever it is. What makes that so much more money? Well, whatever the reason is, I'm not going to analyze it. But I realized that to get from point A to point B, you can use a bicycle, you can walk, or you can get any basic car, or you can get, a
You
Lexus or
do
Rolls Royce.
Uber.
Yeah, you can do Uber, take a taxi. But the point is, what are the decisions you want to make in your life? So those who like their Lexuses and Beamers and so on, the great cars, go for it. But I always look at, well, what's the best for Michael? And if it was a Beamer or Lexus, I would get it. But invariably, when you follow your thoughts from your soul, you always make the right decision and you never have to second guess yourself or have buyer's remorse. In our life right now, there are so many things going on. We don't know what decisions to make. And social media is helping us make decisions. Radio, TV is helping us make decisions. But is it really the right thing for us? That's what we have to understand. So there's something in the back of your head and in your neck called the reticular activator. And let's supposing you're looking for, well, say a blue Beamer, right? And you make a decision, I think I'm going to buy a BMW and I'm going to buy a blue one. And all of a sudden you see a ton of blue BMWs. Well, they were always there. But the reticular activator said, oh, it brings it to your attention.
That's like when, okay, not, it won't apply to you, but like for women when they're pregnant, they don't notice how many other women are out there expecting, their own little bundles, and until they're actually, confirmed, and then all of a sudden everybody else is also doing the same thing.
Isn't that the truth? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did notice it when my wife got pregnant. I saw a whole bunch of pregnant women, but other than that, I was oblivious to it. And that's what's so important. What is important to us at this time? What decisions do we need to make? So I'd like to share a little technique. And the technique is very, very well done. And that is, if you can't make a decision right away, and I really say to all of you, unless you're under crisis and you got to make a decision that minute, put it off for 24 hours, if you can do that. Now, sometimes when you're there and they're changing flights on you in an airplane, you got to choose which flight, 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, or 8 o'clock. You got to make it really fast. And I would just close my eyes and I would imagine number 2, 5, 7, and 8. And whatever came up in my vision closed, with my imagination, that's what I would choose. Or you'll have an inclination, 5 o'clock really feels better than 2. And then you find out something happened, you got a phone call or whatever, you had to do something, and it's a good thing you delayed taking the 2 to taking the 5. But let's say a major decision, and this is so important. So what you do is when you go to sleep at night, you ask for the true source, or God, the true source, if you will, positive indication, a sign, whether you should do this or that, or purchase the house, or buy that car, or whatever it is. Something you cannot misunderstand. Very clear and concise. When you go to sleep, you'll either have a dream, or you'll have a vision, or a thought, or you'll hear a song. You'll hear a song. And all of a sudden, that's your sign. It's so obvious. And some of you heard this before, but, I decided whether I should move to Seattle, Washington area or not. And I'm living in Boston, and I got up the ramp, what I call the Southeast Expressway, and a car zooms right in front of me, cuts me off. I focused on the license plate, not on the color of the car or the vehicle. It was the state of Washington. Okay, there's my sign. Now, the analogical, which is my expression for analytical and logical person, would say, well, I got cut off, so that must be a sign I shouldn't come. But I asked it to be so obvious I couldn't miss it. So obviously I had to be cut off in traffic, had to focus on the license plate, and there it is. And it's so easy to misunderstand those signs. And when you ask for something, your soul says, okay, Michael, Theo, whoever you are, you got it, we'll give it to you. And you really get an answer right away, but sometimes we're so overwrought. Well, is this the right decision? Am I going to make the right decision? 2 minutes went by, nothing's happened. Well, you get your answer right away, but we're distracted out of our impatience, our anxiety. And I remember on the way back, I had my about not back, but on my way to Washington, I took my dog, Daiju, he's an Akita, and we were in my truck, and I stopped, and he had to go to the restroom. That's called a fire hydrant. And I pulled into a truck stop, and I said, True Source, I'd like to really know to go to the hometown I was born in, which was Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Figures a guy like me be born in Pottstown of all names. And not knowing what it was, because I understood at 6 or 7 my family moved away. And I pulled along one empty spot, and it was an 18-wheeler moving van from Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Wow.
Whoa, that's a message.
Isn't that a message?
Powerful message. It's
So-
like in your face.
You got it. So I opened up the door and took the dog out, and he used the restroom. It was a nice fire hydrant, nice and red. And then he fertilized the lawn a little bit, and then we came back and we got in the truck, and there's the guy, the 18-wheeler, getting in there, and I got out and talked to him. He said, well, just follow me, and there's some shortcuts and some construction. And as you know, 18-wheelers do not do 40, 50 miles an hour. They do the speed limit or a little bit more. And I got to Pottstown, Pennsylvania. It was incredible. So
Wow.
when we ask for assistance, and that's the bottom line, we get it. But sometimes we have to get out of our own way.
Can I share a story?
Sure, please.
This is when I'm talking about traveling and stuff. I was moving up here from Arizona, and I really didn't want to come. I really didn't want to come back to Washington because in Arizona, I had my house and my grandsons. And I remember the whole way when I came across the desert, I'm driving across the desert, tears because I didn't want to leave. And my car kept pulling to the right. And I thought, I'm in the middle of the Mojave Desert, right? And I thought, I had my tires checked before I left. I had my little red Nissan Frontier. And it fully loaded with everything I owned, and the bumper was I had bad chocks, and it was kind of low to the ground. And I thought, well, when I get over to the other side of the desert, I'll go check it out. Well, I'm up there on the California Grapevine, and I hit a pothole, and I was over on the slow lane because my little truck needed a little extra oomph to get up the hill. And when I got to the top of the hill, I saw an exit. I thought, okay, I'm going to get gas. I'm going to go check out why this thing keeps pulling, right? And I make a phone call to my other half, and he says, check the oil. And I thought, oh, for goodness sake. Okay, fine. You know, I'm here. I checked the oil. And when I looked to find the dipstick, I found this chunk of rubber out of my tire. And it was a bubble on the side of my tire.
Ooh.
And I thought, ooh, this does not look good. And I went inside to the, it was like a little mini mart where you get the gas. And I asked the guy, I go, is there somewhere around here where I can have a tire changed? And he said, yeah, but it's Friday night and it's 5 o'clock and they might not be open. And I come back out and I said, well, I have to go and try, right? And when I came out, there was this white pickup truck and it was parked too close to my driver door and I couldn't get in. And I thought, I'm never going to make it to, and I was getting stressed. And I went around the corner to the passenger side and to talk to the gentleman who was sitting there to ask them if they could move it over so I could get into my truck, right? Because it was packed all really full. And I looked on the side of the truck and it was 24-hour roadside service right there in front of me. And the guy, he said, well, my father's in the store. He'll come right back out and we'll see what we can do to help you. And they took care of everything. They changed my tire. They told me where to go, for a hotel so that I could buy a new tire the next day because I shouldn't be driving on my donut spare. Mm-hmm. But had I not listened and paid attention,
right,
I might have missed that. I would have been sitting in my truck all grumpy, whatever, and that 24-hour roadside guy could have driven away and I would have never known it was him. So definitely, timing, pay attention to the signs. Right?
You got it. Well said. I couldn't have said it any better. Thank you for sharing that. How are we doing on time?
Oh, we got about 5 minutes, Michael.
All right. What I want to really share with you is that every decision that you make should not be made with your ego or what I call the analogical mind. Always ask for a sign, ask for a direction, which way to go, what to do. Many times I get up in the morning and I have to go to my office. And there are several ways I could go, and I always ask, what's the best route? And there, I could use three different routes, basically two, but sometimes three. And every time I just get this feeling, you would say the gut feeling, just take, I-5 or take 512 or 167 or whatever it is. What happens is if I violate it, there's always a stall, probably an accident, going to be late, because my ego is saying, I don't have to listen to this, I know better. Well, you end up with egg on your face.
Ego needs to go sit on the bench in the hallway.
So I call it winning the argument and losing the sale. It's an old expression when I was in marketing and sales back east. And you never want to win when it costs you to lose. That's so important. And I've known people who were so argumentative, they would never apologize, and they would go down with a ship that was sinking. He was that kind of a person. And they are out there. So there's an old spiritual, argument, and this is argue for your limitations and you own them. Think about that. Argue for your limitations and you own them. I have to go this way. That's the only way I can go to work. You're limiting yourself which way you go. Or I have to do this way, or I have to do it that way. But there's so many ways you can do things. It's like cooking chicken or rice. There's so many ways you can do it, or bake a cake or whatever it is. Many ways you can do that. The messages and decisions. Ask for true inner source guidance. Ask for a positive sign you can't misunderstand. And ask for it to be done with grace and ease.
Oh boy, yes.
So you can do it two ways. You can do it with grace and ease, or you can take the hard way.
Whew.
It's up to you. And the last story was back in 1978. It was in New England. And the blizzard of 78 hit. And the roads were closed for over a week. I don't know whether it was 7 to 10 days. And I was in Rhode Island, which was a couple-hour trip. And I was working, ready to open up the business and buying equipment. And the owner said, you better get out of here. There's a big storm coming. So I got in my car and I drove. And there were many different ways. I took the interstate and then I got off, stopped at a Holiday Inn, had a drink or something because I wanted to relax. I said, which way do I go home now? And I felt and heard the voice, take this way. And they were all back roads, which were not quite plowed, but I was able to make it. The only place I couldn't get up was my driveway because there was too much snow and I had a slight incline. So I had to shovel it a little bit, and then I got into my driveway, into my garage. But there were people that were stranded out there for more than 24 hours.
Wow.
And there were thousands of cars on the roads, and they couldn't move. And the reason it took so long to open up after 2 days is they had to tow one car out at a time. They couldn't take 20 or 30 or even plow them out because they were bumper to bumper. But here I am, home that night, and by that time, there was about 1.5 feet of snow. I think we had 2 to 3 feet. Actually, back door with the winds, I couldn't even open up the door. What is the door? 5, 6 feet tall because the snow was piled against it. So here I was, as snug as a bug in a rug, so to speak, and safe and sound with my family because I made the right decision and listened to true inner source guidance. If you will practice this for the rest of your days, you'll always come out with a smile and the sun shining on you. And if you violate it, then you'll be walking around in a storm and ducking the winds and the rain. Think about this. Use this process. You will always, always come out smelling like a rose. You may make a mistake and you're going to learn from that mistake, but it will be minor. So everyone, I want to thank you very much, and I want to share some information with you. To you, is there anything you want to add?
Absolutely.
All right, please do.
This has been a wonderful message. I am totally thrilled. And what I wanted to share is that Dr. Michael Gross does a Tuesday night call-in. Every Tuesday night at 6:30 Pacific Daylight Time, whatever it is, 6:30, whatever the time zone is.
6:30 to 7:30.
6:30 to 7:30, where you can dial in and you can ask your burning questions, and he will give you an answer that could really open your eyes. And that number is,
Ta-da!
it's a new number, that's why I'm reading it. Okay, it's 202 926 1059 and the access code.
125446 That's 125446
And one more time, the number is 202 926 1059.
125446
And Michael always does a 10-minute recorded call. After that particular call, it just goes into recording status. And he has over 200 recorded messages, which you can access 24/7, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're all there waiting for you to dial in. And I know that you always tell people if they're driving, carry on.
You're stuck in traffic or you're bored or even on your own airplane, just dial in and listen. It will really, they're called WOW, Words of Wisdom. It's really
Wow.
going to, you like that? Wow. Words of Wisdom.
Wow. Meaning words of wisdom. I like that.
And
Flashy.
we just came out with that one. And in doing that, you get rid of the boredom, but you'll have a message that's very inspiring.
And that number, I'll also make sure that everything is in the comments, okay? But for now, that recording number is 434 300 4170 and the access code.
125446 pound.
I love the way he does that. You're such a character. He has a beautiful singing voice too. Maybe one day we can get you to sing a little. Okay. Okay, one more time. The number for the recording is 434 300 4170.
125446 pound.
And
On the second Saturday of every month, it's so important to me. It's called Healing the Mass Consciousness. And what we do is on the second Saturday of every month at 9:55 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, what I ask everyone is to call in. And I give you a short message. And then after the first 2 or 3 minutes, it's done in silence. We meditate. We ask for God, the true source of unconditional love, to come through each one of us as a conduit to help heal the inhabitants on this planet and the Mother Earth. It'll be the most fantastic, incredible experience you've ever had. These are not my words, but from those who participate. And it ends at 11:01. I encourage all of you that we really have to make a difference on this planet. We really have to try to change the energy and then succeed in doing the energy and turn us back to the proverbial Garden of Eden of love. So I ask all of you to spread the word, to share it, because each one of us, you are the solution to changing this.
shall I give that number?
Go ahead.
Okay. It's the same number as the Tuesday night call in. It's 202 926 1059 and the access code.
125446 pound.
One more time. 202 926 1059.
And the access code is one. Well, I nearly did that. 125446 pound. That's 125446 pound.
Can we also put your give them your email account?
Sure.
Because right now, one of the things that Michael and I are doing, we're working really hard on getting his nonprofit up. And if you'd like to learn more about it, I really encourage everybody to email Michael.
And the email is drmichaelgross1@gmail.com. So it's Dr, small case, no period, Michael Gross, numerical 1, @gmail.com. Everyone, that's Dr. Michael Gross, numerical 1, @gmail.com. And because we are embracing self-worth, self-love, self-esteem. And right now we're going to be working with abused women, children, and men. We're getting all our ducks in a row. If you're looking to give someone a gift at Christmas by donating to a nonprofit, we're a 501c. We have an EIN number, or taxes are coming up, and you're looking to do that for a worthy cause. Because over here, you're looking at the director of abuse, and she's going to be working with many abused women and children and men, and she has a great story to share. But more importantly, she's been through it and came out smelling like a rose.
He's going to use that line?
Yes, I
There's
will.
a rose on the cover of the book. Shall we share the book?
Absolutely.
One of the things, too, that I'm doing, because I really believe in what Michael is setting up as the nonprofit, is that the sale of this book here, $5 from the sale of this book here, will go into the International Institute of Self-Empowerment. And like I said, it's going to a nonprofit. And right now, you have to start looking at what's coming down the pipeline when you start doing your taxes, okay? So on that note, I highly encourage everybody else, or all of you, to get this book.
And the same applies. The $5 goes towards the International Institute of Self-Empowerment. It's in the process of being printed, so just want to tell everybody it may be not available till after Christmas, but we can ship it after, or you can wait later and order it. Whatever works out well for all of you. So thank you, everyone. I
Right?
appreciate it. Remember that you are unlimited. Take care, everyone.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you. Have a great afternoon.
You as well. Oh, you as well, Michael.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you all.